Is this thing flying or floating? So let's see what questions we have only on Paranormal, True or False. It is free to subscribe. Please subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you. Is a poltergeist moving these objects? As the camera peers through this window, we will suddenly see some items on that table move around. Back and forth, back and forth. Well, what's going on? It doesn't appear like anybody's in the room, but of course we can't see everywhere inside this room. But it looks like these bottles are all moving together into a circle, and then they move away from each other. It also looks like there's reflection of people or aliens in that window across from us. But I think that's just light reflecting off of the glass. Could this be staged in which they rigged it to move in, cut the tape, re-rig it to move back out? Yes. Could it be paranormal? Maybe. I find it interesting that there's absolutely no exterior lights. It is completely dark outside. This appears to be some sort of a public venue, whether it's a church, cafeteria, or a business cafeteria, or a restaurant. But why are there no exterior lights? Is this a business trying to drum up business by using the paranormal? You know, if this is paranormal, it's very synchronized, and it looks really cool. So it might be paranormal just because of how smooth and synchronized it is. It's definitely a new twist on Spin the Bottle. So pucker up for the poltergeist. Is this a witch on a broom? As this car is traveling down this dirt road, they start filming through the windshield of the vehicle and capture this dark object that almost looks like a witch flying on a broom. What is this thing? Is it just floating or flying? At this point, it really does look like two legs dangling down the sides of a broom. But I'm not convinced it's a witch. Now, if I have to guess, I think this is a silhouette of a balloon cluster, and even the other dark space behind it, or on the side that pops into the equation there, that could be a balloon that has popped and is heading back down to the ground. I'm just not convinced that that is anything other than a balloon cluster. And sometimes either the strings that dangle from it separated, or the balloons themselves separate and give a different illusion of what it is, but it's still, I think it's just a balloon cluster, a silhouette of a balloon cluster. Now, I will admit, at the very end, when it starts to go over the top of the car, it does kind of look like Hagrid on his flying motorcycle. This is the type of ghost I would like to come back as. One that can fly anywhere, go anywhere, just, take off and just go. That would be the ghost that I would want to be. So, most likely balloons, but a really cool ghost. This is definitely creepy. This guy is lighting some light sticks, and when he stands up, he's kind of provoking, and suddenly we'll see something over his right shoulder. Who is that? But it makes noise, and he just takes off running through this tunnel. It does look like somebody with a mask on So I'm not completely convinced it's paranormal, but it's definitely creepy. But yeah, the head just is shaped kind of like a mask. But the other thing that's creepy about this video is when they're running through that tunnel, there's a bunch of growls coming from somewhere. So I don't know what all that was, but any rate, yeah, I don't know. It's so easy to have a soundtrack that has a growl sounding, and just having one of your friends stand behind you and spook you like that. I don't. I'm just not convinced it's real. I think it's all staged. But that would be a cool prank. So if there's some punk that's trying to pick on me or get in my face to scare the crap out of him like this, that would work for me. I have no problems being that type of ghost. This one's even creepier. So these guys are going down this dirt road and they see something off to the left-hand side. They don't have a good visual of it, but they keep panning around with this drone is what's happening. And they keep picking up something, so now they're kind of focusing that drone into that area, trying to figure out what that object or thing is. I'm going to try and zoom in so we can get a better look. So we have a very white humanoid object or thing that is squatting down low to the ground. The drone keeps moving, trying to get a better angle, trying to move in more. Even though drones tend to be pretty loud, it doesn't really appear that this thing is reacting to the drone. So could it just be death? So it has all the mannerisms of being human. So it's one of those walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. Well, even though it's odd and acting odd, that could just simply be how it was raised. If this is the backwoods of Kentucky, this is probably perfectly normal human behavior for the backwoods of Kentucky. Nothing is unusual here. This could also be an inbred person in the Appalachian Mountains. It's hard to say. But it's definitely not paranormal. It's just freaky human stuff. Most likely staged. Whoa, what tackled this guy? Somewhere in Malaysia, we have a security guard that runs out of a room only to end up being tackled and dragged back into the room. And he tries to hold on to the door jamb before he just flops over on his back and is dragged through that room. Unfortunately, someone, I don't know if it's an English-speaking person that's doing it or a Malaysian person that's doing it, but they're passing off these movies as paranormal. So they're just taking clips from movies, professionally done movies, and they're just passing them off as paranormal. And I'm not sure which side or who's involved in all of this, but this is just a Malaysian movie. It's nothing else. At this point, I would be thinking, eat me fast, so I don't know I'm dying. Is this broom possessed? As the camera points into this other room, we see a broom standing there. And it's odd because it's standing there and then it falls. Problem is, that broom should not have been standing at all. It wasn't leaning up against a wall. No one appeared to be holding it. How did this happen? Is it possessed? Or is someone standing in the left side there with a string that's attached to a little rigging on the ceiling, and they simply drop the string, causing the broom to fall. It's just Harry Potter practicing his summoning charms. Osseo broom. Is this a shadow person? As this camera pans around this dilapidated building, we will suddenly see at the end of this one hallway what appears to be a shadow person walking by. Who or what was that? Is this paranormal? Is it a poor quality camera? Or is it an editing trick? So I think we can safely say that most human beings are not going to walk through a dilapidated building without a camera, or without a flashlight rather. Even though it's not great footage, the fact that we don't have a flashlight causes me to not blame the camera. That thing should have a flashlight. So for me, this one might be paranormal. However, it could also be staged. But I know I would not want to spend an eternity just walking around pacing an abandoned building. That would suck. Who or what dragged this kid? Suddenly this teenager that is sitting on the couch in the lower right-hand corner hears something. And he gets up because he's confused and it startled him. And he's looking around trying to figure out what he just heard. And he keeps looking and he keeps looking. The suspense is high. He's concerned and he walks over on the other side of that island. And then suddenly he ends up on the ground and being dragged. Is it safe to say he wants to be involved in horror movies when he grows up? And yes, I finally did figure out how to track motion so that I could blur out people's faces. Yes, it's been 2.5 years and I finally figured out how to do it. I thought it was more complicated, so I didn't try. So you won't need to deal with the skull anymore blurring out children's faces. What is this shadowy figure? So we are in some type of a brick tunnel, casement, or hallway. I'm not sure where we're at. But suddenly at the end of this tunnel, we will see a figure walk by. Now what we have is a cell phone looking at a computer monitor. So that's what we're looking at, trying to capture what's going on. And we do see that figure at the end of the tunnel. But it's very blurry, it's very distant. Again, we have a human being without a flashlight. I'm not exactly sure where these hallways go, where the tunnel goes, but that's definitely some shadowy figure there. It might be paranormal. I can see how it could be staged or a hoax, but it's just creepy enough to be possibly real. I'm beginning to think hell might just be being bored to death for all of eternity. Are these objects possessed? So once again, we are in a kitchen with objects moving. Is the reason why we have so much fake paranormal activity happening in the kitchen is because everybody has a junk drawer in their kitchen, and that's exactly what is needed to fake the paranormal? Because the string that I use to fake paranormal videos is in the junk drawer in my kitchen. This could be paranormal, but I assume it's string being used. Is this paranormal activity? On the left side of our screen, we will start to see stuff in the chair moving, as well as that picture frame or whatever that is on the table moving. I don't know if that's paper or fabric that's in the chair, but I'm going to assume that's moving because of an air vent on the floor. Whether it's a table fan or a ceiling fan or even that window cracked open, that fabric or that paper will move like that in a breeze. Now, as far as that picture frame moving, it's moving in such an odd way, and picture frames are hard to move by string because they'll fall so easily. But the picture frame that is moving, that could be paranormal. Why don't you guys let me know in the comment section below what you think on that frame. Is this a crawler? So as this guy is investigating this area, suddenly a flashlight will fall, a door will start to close, but he continues his investigation. And he's saying, I'm worried that something might happen. And suddenly behind him, we start to see something crawling on the ground. Who or what is that? Is it paranormal? Or is it a human being in a wig just crawling on the ground? Is this staged? Is it a hoax? Is he safe? Should he run? Maybe because I've never been a prostitute, I do not want to spend all of eternity on my hands and knees. You can shop at echopearlcreations.com, which is the official website for Paranormal True or False. You can go to producerjimriley.com to learn more about the man that makes all the music for this channel. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Remember to question everything. Thanks for watching Paranormal, True or False.